What's up, RBA family? Thank you for tuning in to the Think RBA podcast, where real ballers adjust. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you don't miss any of our new content. Oh, and don't forget, hit the comments. We want to hear from you.
Sanders slide. I'm going to call it the Sanders slide, right? This is not Deion Sanders slide into second base or stealing bases of the Sanders slide, but this is the son, the Shedeur Sanders. He has drastically slid, unbeknownst to us all, way below down in the draft from where he was projected to be. And can you give us some sort of insights, considering you're the SME here amongst the group, of why this was?
So the Sanders slide went all the way to fifth base, which is not, I don't even think there is a fifth base. I honestly can't give you any insight because this situation is unfathomable. I mean, I've seen some slides before, but never anything like this. Unless it was a serious medical issue or a serious character issue, like criminal type of issue. The draft became all about Shedeur, which I have a little problem with too. But the draft became the Shedeur Sanders story, right? Pick by pick by pick. Okay, he didn't get to the first round. We've seen that before. Okay, he didn't go to the second round. Wow. Okay. We've kind of seen that before, but not a whole lot. And he didn't get through the third round. So after night 2, then it was like, oh, snap, like there's something seriously going on here. So I don't know that there's any insight because, I mean, obviously you read the rumors that are out there that he didn't interview well and turn teams off, whatever. Or some that said, oh, it's about his talent and this is the NFL's indictment on his talent. I don't think so. To me, this was the NFL's indictment on his pops. It frustrates me because, like, we've seen in history where this is types of things have happened before, just in a very different way, right? The obvious one that everybody points back to is Eli Manning and his dad talking about, we're not going to go play for the Chargers. Don't draft us, right? Almost unheard of besides John Elway, him. I mean, it's unheard of for a talent to say, don't draft me. I don't want to play here. And we all know how that played out with Eli. So, but I think that it was an indictment on his pops, on the fact that, you know, for such a long time, he's pumped his son up, right? You know, he's talking about he's going to be a top 3 pick. And what I think really did them in was there's only certain teams that I want him to go play for. And I think when you couple that with potentially some of the rumors of maybe he didn't come in and interview well, maybe some of that was on purpose to get teams to take them off of his draft board. I mean, I'm going to take him off of their draft board. I don't know, right? We're not NFL insiders by any stretch of the imagination. But I just do think that it was a tell from a number of NFL teams to say, I don't want the distraction, right, that comes with potentially drafting this kid, despite his talent. And his talent is there. There's absolutely no denial. And for the record, because I don't want this to come off like I'm hating on Deion, I absolutely am not. And matter of fact, I think it's a huge double standard the way they're treating him versus the way they treated Archie Manning when he was doing it with Eli. And doing those interviews talking about, no, don't draft him, like they were just coming out and saying it. And so I think Deion has handled himself a lot better, in fact. So this is not me saying that I agree with how things happen by any stretch of the imagination, because I don't. I think it's ridiculous. I think that they almost punished him, right? It was like a collective punishment for this kid who just wants to go out and ball. Like, what does he do? Does he get in trouble? Because I heard of him get in trouble, right?
Right.
He hangs out with his family, goes plays video games, does live streams with his brother. Like, what are we talking about here? And plays football. What's the problem? Like, he's not a kid that's going to bring trouble, but you know that it's going to bring a lot of media. It's going to bring a lot of attention. And I believe, it's just my sole speculation, that a lot of teams, a lot of coaches didn't want to deal with maybe things are not going that well, right? And okay, well, now you're going to have Deion talking about, Shedeur should be starting, right? I mean, I think that that's what I believe some of these teams were. Like, if you think of it, you're the Giants, right? Brian Daboll, their GM, like, they're fighting for their jobs. Like, they could have been fired last year. So imagine they pick Shedeur, right? And they see, they go on, Russell Wilson's stinking it up the first 3 games. Then what? Is Deion going to be quiet and just let them coach, or is he going to say, no, my son should be starting? And by the way, he'd be entitled to that opinion if he were asked, right?
Right, absolutely.
So I just think that it's more of an indictment, I think, from the league on not wanting to deal with the hype of the Sanders name than it is his talent. Because there's no way some of the quarterbacks that were drafted before him, you just can't. There's no way. I mean, there's teams that needed quarterbacks. I'm going to talk about that a little bit more as we progress through the segment, so I don't want to give it all away now. But, there's teams that absolutely could have used his talent to be in a better position this year that passed on it.
Well, the Browns will be using their talent, I guess, going forward.
Well, will they? That's the question.
That's a great question. So, likewise, I also have a thought on this, like a theory on this. You remember so Deion Sanders has always been somebody who has done things his own way, right? And he has not been shy about it, ever.
Right.
And that doesn't rub certain people off the right way.
Right.
Even when he was coming out prime time, right? He came from Florida. There was his mannerisms were not received well by certain folks.
Yeah.
And even throughout his career, right? Some athletes didn't like the way he portrayed himself, right? All that glitz and glamour, whatever. And he's always carried that throughout his career, his life. And that's just who he is. And I feel like this is their way of, like you said, where saying, you know what, we can't get you, but we're going to get you now, right? This is our only way to get you. And it's unfortunate that we are as petty as we are potentially. This, if that really is the case. Hopefully it's not, but the way it played out, man, I didn't like it. I'm with you. What did he do, right? What did Shedeur do? But now if I'm Shedeur, I'm coming in like, all right, put my head down. When it's my turn though, or when it's my turn, y'all going to find out real fast who Shedeur Sanders is, right? And the other thing I took away was that, you remember when LeVar Ball, Lonzo was coming out, and teams didn't want that extra LeVar energy, right? It was this whole hoopla of like LeVar saying a little too much, and teams are not interested in that. Like, little Lonzo's going to be better than Steph. Stuff like that, almost putting him in harm's way in essence with the athletes. And I feel like it was almost like you said, right? Potentially risking that LeVar type behavior from Deion, which we don't need that extra energy, except that Deion's a Hall of Fame, caliber athlete versus LeVar wasn't. So different weight there, right? A whole different level.
Yeah. So
all I say is this, that Shedeur, what's happened has happened, right? I'm not going to say that bygones be bygones, but I'm going to say let it be that chip on your shoulder, right? And then just, when it's your turn though, I'm out storming, man. Just come out and then never look back. So hopefully it works out well for him.
And to quickly add to that, Shedeur has the opportunity to do the most RBA thing ever, right? We talk about real ballers adjust.
Yeah.
RBA. I mean, this is the most RBA situation he's ever found himself in life. Well, in his football life. Let me be clear. In his football life.
Sure.
I'm not talking about his personal. I don't know about his personal life, but this is the most RBA moment of his football life, and he's a real baller. And I do believe he will adjust. And I do believe he will RBA it and use all of this as motivation, because I also believe that he is raised the right way. And he was raised to be able to put in the hard work, to do things the right way. Because again, this kid's not out there getting in trouble, right? He's a baller. And so he has a chance to do the most RBA thing that we've seen in quite some time. I mean, I don't think we've seen it other than Brock Purdy coming out of nowhere since Brady, right? I mean, most, but there was no hype on them. Like, this is all that hype that came with him.
Right.
And he still has those expectations, despite the fact that he was a 5th rounder.
Correct.
But I believe he'll shatter them. Given the opportunity, he's got to be given the real opportunity.
You know what though, man? If you respect the game will give it to you. Like, you'll get it. They don't remember, the great ones don't have to go chase it, right? Like, if they work it, eventually that will come to him. Now then, it's just a matter of rising to the occasion.
So I hear you, but here's I'm gonna push back on it a little bit, because that's why I said if he's given the opportunity. Sure. Because think about it, the Browns drafted a quarterback in the 3rd round over him, who somebody clearly was not better than him, right? So what I fear is, you remember when the former Washington team, they weren't called the Commanders then, but the former Washington team, right? They drafted RG3 in the 1st round, and they drafted Kirk Cousins in the 4th round. Why did they do that? Well, the owner wanted RG3, the coach wanted Kirk Cousins, right? And that became a thing the whole time. My concern is, and this is just a hypothetical, but did the coaches want whatever his name was, Dylan something, in the 3rd round? And was it the owner that said, we need to pick Shedeur in the 5th? Like, he's been on there too long. We need to go get him. And will he truly be set up for success? So that's what I'm saying. Like, he's got to be given the opportunity to be able to do it. Like, I believe he'll put in the work and put himself into position, but he can't make the decision to make himself, to move himself up the depth chart, right? And so if there is a vendetta out against him, his dad, the Sanders name, I hope that it won't happen in Cleveland, but you just never know. So again, but he's got to be, if he's given a real chance, I think he'll knock it out the park.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the content, remember to like, share, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications.